Okay, so this video is for the first set of doodles for the tissues. So we're just going to look at these pages that say epithelial tissues and glandular epithelium. All these ones about connective and all the other ones you can save them for later. So we just need these two. I am recording this at home, so if you hear a cat, apologies. As soon as I start talking to myself, the cats want to get involved. So hopefully they don't jump up and move my iPad that I'm recording on. Let's see. Epithelial tissue. There we go. Put this other one over here. So on here we have pictures of the epithelium and what they're called down the side. And we're going to write some stuff about them in these boxes. So starting with the simple squamous. A word you're going to learn is which side is the basal side versus the apical side. So on this first picture, I'm going to label which one is the basal side. And that is the bottom. Or the basal layer, or the basal surface. So what these tissues look like first is they are flat and only one layer, because this is simple, remember? I'm not sure what this extra mark is here. Let me see if I can. There we go. All of these over here that say simple. Let's see, what can I do that's colorful? I think I'll make them a color. And then let's find other variations of red. Columnar. I'm just coloring. Giving you guys a second to get caught up too. And apologies for the shakiness. The table I'm writing on is not that sturdy. So going on with our squamous. The function of squamous epithelium is diffusion, rapid diffusion. The third thing we're going to write is where they're found. So for example, your lungs. There's lots of examples. I'm just writing down one. Feel free to color in the cells too if you want to. I'm just saving some of my coloring to save us some time. Simple cuboidal. So these are cube-shaped and one layer. Function, secretion, and absorption. And found in our example is going to be the kidneys. That is a weird K. There we go. Notice something about these. I'm going to grab my red colored pencil again. These here, sorry again for the shakiness. This table is not that great. These are the nucleus of each of those cells. So when you look at a squamous epithelial cell, since they're kind of flat, I mean, the nucleus is sort of just in there somewhere in the middle. When you look at the cubes, it's usually one big nucleus right in the middle. And even for our online people, or I mean all of us if we end up being online, you're going to do a lab where you're going to identify the different kinds of cells. And one of the ways you can do that is by looking at where the nucleus is. We see for columnar, they're kind of toward the bottom, or toward the basal side. And speaking of columnar, they are tall cells in one layer, because we are still in simple here. They might have cilia or other glands, which we'll see in a second. And their function is also secretion and absorption, but since I don't have much room, I'm just going to say found in your digestive tract. Okay, moving down to stratified. Let's see if I can get this to slide for me. There we go. So stratified, I think I'm going to go with blue. And in stratified, we also can see those nuclei. We have stratified squamous, which is the one that we are normally going to see in anatomy, so that's the one I'm going to color. Cuboidal and columnar do exist, but they're pretty rare for humans, so we will write something over here, but I'm not going to color it. And you can go ahead and color in the nuclei too if you like. Stratified, so many layers of squamous cells. Their function is protection. And they're found in your skin. My handwriting's getting worse as we go on here. I'm going to say for both of these, they're rare in humans, but I will give you one place where they're found. Salivary glands for this one. It's in your mouth where you make saliva, salivary glands. And for this one, found in your larynx, which is part of the tubes that go down to your lungs. Larynx. That's how you spell that. Okay, let's go down to the pseudo and the transitional. Just for the sake of continuity, I'll make pseudo yellow. There. Let's make transitional. I have a lot of browns near me right now, so I'm gonna go with brown. So pseudo stratified, one thing I do want to point out to you, and I'm going to use, I think, an orange color to make it a little easier to stand out than yellow. Come here, orange. It's running away. Look at where the nuclei are in pseudo. See how they're kind of like top and bottom all over the place? This is why, if you're not paying attention, pseudo-stratified kind of looks like it's stratified, hence pseudo means fake. But in real life, it's only one layer. So, looks stratified. Sorry for my handwriting. Because So it looks like the nuclei are in many levels. So that is why we call it pseudostratified. It looks stratified, but it's not. This also is the function in secretion and absorption. And found the respiratory system. So this can, for the transitional, it can change shape. Or stretch. And it's found in only one place. In your bladder, specifically your urinary bladder. Move this over to hand it so everybody can see all of it. I'm just going to wait a second and I'll switch over to the glandular one. I'm going to do it all at once this time, all my epitheliums in one video. Alrighty, let's move on to our glands. So we have exocrine, endocrine glands. I'm just giving everybody a second to make sure that they've got what they need. So we have merocrine, apocrine, holocrine glands. And we're focusing on the ones we find in humans. So this might be slightly different than the notes that you had. In a merocrine, merocrine, ooh, that is a bright highlighter. Whoa. You can see that how the particles sort of get released. This is this thing that the gland is secreting, these dots. So, glands are parts of your body that secrete something. Maybe like a hormone or an oil or something. You see, in a merocrine gland, you can see how they are getting secreted. So they excrete, here's your science word of the day. Exocytosis. It's exiting the cell. So the cell makes them into tiny vesicle bubbles and then poops them out of there. The word marrow means part, so I'm going to write that on here for reasons that will make sense when we do the other two. And example, EX's example. Sweat glands. So I just dropped that other paper on the floor, the one we just did, and my cat came over and sat on it. So it is now crunched by cat. Let's over a little bit. She's holding down my papers for me. Apocrine. Can see it sort of pinches off a part of the cell. So here's all the stuff we want to excrete. That part of the cell sort of comes off. And then we end up with a smaller cell, and these things excrete. I'm not doing a good job of lining it out, but I think you get what I mean. So, that's a portion of the cell. Pinches off with whatever products it was making. Apo means tip, so just the tip or the top of the cell comes off. An example here is mammary glands. A holocrine. Let's see what other colors I have here. Well, this one looks like orange. Let's see how bright color this one is. Woo! Man, this is like the page of really bright highlighters. So you can see here's the products this time. And it looks like the whole cell just kind of goes away, because it does. Cells rupture, which is the fancy word for it, they blow up. DUCTS, ducts. Hall on here, that means whole. So you can see why this makes sense. Merocrine is only part of the cell gets excreted. Apocrine, only the tip gets excreted. And holocrine, the whole cell goes. And our example, sebaceous glands. This is BA. Sebaceous glands are oil glands. Okay, we've got one more at the bottom. An endocrine gland. So if you notice with all of these that we just did with our very bright highlighters, they are sending something out. So exo means out. Let me say that. So over here on the side, I have a red pen. I'm going to say exo is out. So something is coming out. It's exiting the cell. It's leaving and going off. Not that all glands don't do that, but here something physically is leaving from a cell. In endocrine, this thing here is the capillary, so I'm going to find something that looks like blood. Some color here. Let's find some red. That is pink. Let me find some. I have so many colored pencils. Here's my capillary. In this case, the secreted substances are released right into a blood vessel. It's kind of released into the environment. The cell doesn't really change at all, it just kind of sends out the stuff. This is where you'd find your hormones. So we can see in here, I kind of ran out of colors. I'll just go with my pencil. I'll just do it with my pencil. You see these darker spots in here? Those are your cells that are making your products, and then they're just getting released straight into the blood. Here they are. There's some that are still inside. Not quite as bright and fancy as my others, but so. I don't think I spelled that right. I did not spell that right. There is no A. Secreted is the word I'm going for. Whoa, broke the pencil. Secreted substances if you can hear a plastic bag, this is my one cat is playing with a plastic bag. Secreted substances are released into your blood. Example would be like your thyroid or your pancreas. These are your hormones. So the main big takeaway difference here is your endocrine glands are what's releasing your hormones that will go signal other things. These other glands release other things like sweat or milk or oil. When we do the skin and all the other parts of the body that have these glands, we'll talk more about them. We're just kind of talking real quick about them here while we do epithelium. And since this video is getting long, let's just quick. You should have this page done and turned in, and this page done. And we're going to turn that in. But just these two for now. We'll do the other tissues another day. Okay? You know what to do if you have any questions or not sure about something. Shoot me a message anytime.